Hi, it's Sharma. Welcome to this mastery session. I'm so excited for you. Here's why. This mastery session is all about the 5 consistencies of game changers. And I'm going to drop right into it with a mental model I want you to imagine. So imagine a bell curve, and imagine this bell curve has mostly in the main part of the bell curve, and actually we're going to flip up to a graphic I want you to look at, but in the center is the 95%. And I call this the cult of average. It's no judgment. These are not bad people, these are wonderful people. The reality is most people in that 95% are thinking, living, producing, performing at average levels. Now, at the high end, that little 5% of that bell curve, that 5% is what I call the arena of game changers. And that is where the best of the best are living. And so what I want to do in this podcast is I want to walk you through the 5 mindsets or the 5 consistencies that game changers do. And I've got a mnemonic to help you remember it. And it's a bit of a strange mnemonic, but it's basically this: elephants do silly postures working. I'm going to repeat that again. Elephants do silly postures working. And I got this from my piano teacher when I was a kid. And she had this strange mnemonic. It was something about good boys eat chocolate, or I forget what it was. But Mrs. Van Ord would come to our home and she would share these mnemonics to help me learn the keys as we went through the piano lessons. And so all these years later, I came up for you in this podcast with this one, which is elephants do silly postures working. And it will remind you of the 5 things to be consistent on, because consistency is the mother of mastery. What you do every day matters far more than what you do once every year. And if you are consistent on these 5 things every day, you really will leap from that 95% of any form of average in your life, any form of thinking like average or feeling average, or average prosperity, or average health, or average work, into the rare air of the 5% who I call game changers. Okay, so let's get into the first one. The E in elephant will remind you to make the leap from the 95% to the rare air of the 5% in terms of no more excuses and start producing results. Victims love excuses. The game changer is all about results. The ordinary person or the average person will recite their excuses every day. Here's why I can't get fit. Here's why I can't do great work. Here's why I'm not happy. Here's why there's no prosperity in my life. Here's why I have no love in my life. The problem is, if you recite your excuses, you actually train your brain to believe they are true. The game changer is all about results. Here's what I am doing. No more excuses, more rolling up your sleeves and driving execution. After the E in elephants, elephants do. Well, the do will remind you of the D in distraction. Make the leap from the 95% from distraction into concentration. You see, average people are so distracted with their smartphones and their social feeds and interruptions, like they can't focus anymore. But the game changer is all about concentration, a monomaniacal obsession on just a few things. Because the secret of mastery is concentration. Edison was asked, how have you done so much? How can you create so much? And Edison replied, most people get up every day and do many things. I get up every day and I do a few things. That is the secret of my great productivity. Elephants do silly. The S in silly will remind you of the leap you need to make from the 95% who are immersed in stagnation to optimization. Okay? So that's the third leap. The 95% love stagnation. It's all about, clinging to the safe harbor of the known, living out the best years of your life, watching television in a subdivision. Stagnation, the same conversations with the same people, the same books, the same kind of work, the same thinking. Why? Because they're frightened to go out into the blue ocean of possibility. But Papa Wallenda, the great high wire walker, said it so well. He said, life is lived out on the wire. The rest is just waiting. Shift from stagnation to optimization so that everything you touch gets better, so the books you read get better, so the things you think get better, so your conversations get better. Because if you're the smartest person in your social circle, today is the day to start a new social circle. Elephants do silly postures. Well, the P in postures will remind you to shift from the past into the beauty of the future. You see, the average people, the 95% cohort, it's all about the past. Well, here's the kind of athlete I was back in 1922. You know what? I was really passionate about doing world-class work back in 1943. And then they start blaming their past for why their lives are not working. But if you're addicted to your past, of course you're never going to do anything amazing in your future. And the Game Changer is all about a bold and brave and gorgeous future, making every day better than yesterday, making the coming year better than last year, even if last year was the single best year of your life. Now, we all get heartbroken, we all get hurt, we all experience adversity. So the real key is to see the past as a university toward mastery. Basically ask yourself, how can I leverage the heartbreak? How can I leverage my trial? How can I leverage that dark time in the valley of pain that I went through 2 years ago or last year to bring on more humility, more bravery, more humanity, more light, more love, more mastery into the world, okay? And then the final few ideas. So elephants do silly postures working. The W in working will remind you of the final part of this mnemonic. If you really want to shift from the 95% cult of average into the rare air 5% of being a game changer, the W in working will remind you that ordinary people really think about week to week. It's how can I get through the next 7 days? Okay? How can I watch enough TV so I can numb out the pain of my potential unexpressed and just get to next week? How can I eat enough junk food so I drive a little bit of pleasure in the moment to get through the next few days? How can I maybe gossip or coast out the next few days to just get into the next week? That's how a lot of people, very unfortunately, are living. But those who are in rare air are fundamentally different. And this is a total mindset shift. It's not about getting through the next week. It's not about getting through the next month. It's about how can I think the thoughts, run the routines, do the work, live the life, and have the impact so that I'm not trying to get through the next week, but that I'm impacting coming generations. And that's a whole new orbit to be playing with. Asking yourself, even if you are a street sweeper, a pizza maker, whether you're a teacher, a firefighter, a manager, or an entrepreneur, what do I need to do in terms of my psychology and my emotional life and my spiritual life so that the rest of my life has an impact on the coming generations? And with that mindset, then your performance matches your daily behavior. And you do leap from the 95% into that 5%. Which is where I invite you with great love and great passion and great encouragement to play out the rest of your days. Hi, it's Robin. I invite you to subscribe to this podcast and definitely go over to robinsharma.com for more information, tools, and resources on mastery, elite performance, and living a world-class life.